Hello all. Today I'm I'm doing an indulgent reading process, if you will. A few videos back I mentioned ideas of pareidolia and animism. And I'm making this video to clarify the differences between pareidolia, which is a psychological phenomenon where people perceive familiar patterns or objects in random or ambiguous stimuli. It is a common experience where the brain interprets unrelated signals as meaningful. So, for example, when we see faces in a cloud, man in the moon, kind of perhaps it's a form of projection, right? Like applying a personification or a humanistic attribute to something inanimate or a symbol or shape or design, okay? Versus animism. There is a little bit of a connection. Bear with me. Let me back up a little bit. The reason why I wanted to clarify, the difference between pareidolia and animism is because it bothered me. That's all this comes down to. I'm making this video to film the process of clarification because it bothered me. I briefly touched on each concept without elaborating, kind of giving respect, if you will, to like the actual kind of thought process or need for understanding that I was touching on. So yeah, I'm revisiting it with additional information, but also again, there's something more here that I want to explore. So again, I just shared sort of the brief kind of definition of pareidolia, right? The sense of maybe projection of, from the kind of the inside out, if you were, right? Landing on inanimate object or symbol or something of that nature, okay? And so in contrast to animism, which is the belief that objects, places, and creatures all possess a distinct spiritual essence or soul. This includes animals, plants, rocks, rivers, weather systems, all of which are perceived as having agency and free will. And the reason why I wanted to clarify is because animism is something very in deep in regards to indigenous spiritual beliefs across the world. I primarily am focusing on animism in more indigenous or more Eastern Asian applications. And again, the topic comes into the tarot or oracle reading is because some of the cards that I've chosen to, aid my process are themes of, spirits, deities with flavors of animism, which I find, very delightful, but also see like, oh, it's really cool to also like learn about it. And so, so that's important. I think the best way to state my reason is one interpretation, such as pareidolia, is very Western or dominant culture. And so therefore very based in, psychology or maybe science or neuroscience, if you will. But just, for me, it felt both and, right? Like, oh yeah, this is an interesting, thing to understand. However, without a cultural context, it's very limited, if you will, right? And that was concerning for me, that this was then getting connected into animism. And I'm looking for my research. How pareidolia is connecting into spiritual, if you will, tenets. Spiritual traditions may view this phenomena as an aspect of animism, where the natural world is seen as imbued with life and meaning, encouraging a deeper spiritual understanding of one's surrounding, right? So, somewhat, right? Somewhat. I think the importance of perhaps having both to reference. So again, spiritually and spiritual. So the unspiritual aspect is the kind of psychological understanding of, how the mind works, how, projection works, how perhaps how we elicit meaning in the metaphysical. Initially came across this idea of pareidolia. I didn't even know what it was. Watching some psychologists talk about pareidolia in tarot, and long story short, he came to the conclusion, like, this is why all tarot cards are accurate and always kind of predict the future, and in it, again, not judging it, holding it, learning from it, right? Like, again, that discernment part of my personality, which is, oh, okay, so again, learning discernment around, in exploring phenomena of channeling, psychic ability, messaging, knowing I'm not coming up with it, right? Pareidolia, that makes sense, right? It's the mind kind of making pattern recognition and trying to assign meaning, all well and good. However, saying that this may contribute to animism is very limiting and also very ignorant. So going into, well, what is animism, right? And we talked a little bit about, again, a spiritual kind of, respect, if you will, appreciation, awareness, that, again, the focus is that we're all interconnected, and that extends beyond living beings. That extends beyond the human race. So we're looking at the animals, we're looking at the plants, right? We're looking at, and again, that sense of spirit in a mountain, right? Or in a river, or in it's just something that just really, really reveres respect, especially in indigenous cultures. An example is, the mountain being a living ancestor, or other ancient cultures holding rituals to appease a river spirit for safe crossing, or perhaps, like feeling there's some sense of not necessarily agency, but, if we can appease the gods, whether it is a mountain, volcano, river, right? Perhaps they'll be kind, they'll show us mercy. And that's been sort of the kind of directionality, if you will, of relational, interconnective, collectivist societies, right? It is more of the like bringing within the meaning from nature, and as man, right, making sense with his brain or their brain, the phenomena of nature, versus this more individualistic application of, oh, we're assigning the meaning, therefore, whatever, right? So that's what got under my skin. That's what got under my skin. And so how does that play out in a tarot reading? I don't know if it does. I just really needed to clarify, like, if I bring up these points, why I'm bringing up these points. It really, like, again, like, leads to like larger like research and exploratory processes I'm doing behind the scenes. So, and like I said, today I am using, actually I can go ahead and introduce these cards. So the reason why I'm bringing it all up is because today I'm going to use the Floating World Tarot. And Floating World Tarot is based on ancient traditions with Japanese spiritualism. And when you think of Japanese spiritualism, the main one that comes to mind is Shintoism. Although, you know, there are others, you know, can add in Buddhism and what are the other ones? I'm not off the top of my head. Again, that will make me have to go back and kind of clarify and do research. But for the sake of today's process, exploring this idea of animism, you know, I feel like I'm living kind of animism in my day-to-day these days. Like I said, these rocks, they're talking to me. These cards, they're talking to me. When I'm out going for walks, things are, you know, the geese are talking to me. Like, they're not really talking to me, but there's a sense of connection, right? There's something beyond words, that, you know, it is now sensing more connectedness, if you will. And it's wow, it's pretty amazing. Kind of, like I said, a gift of some higher consciousness. So if you all work on getting higher consciousness, you can enjoy this too. Again, the beauty of seeing the world this way, of being reminded that we aren't alone. In fact, everything has purpose, has meaning. It reinforces reverence and respect, which grossly is lacking in Western society. So that's my little soapbox. As far as this tarot process goes, I'm picking a spread out of Floating World Tarot. There are a few to choose from, and there's some more extensive, more kind of like 3-card, if you will, but I've already done some 3-card, and I'm gonna drink some tea. This is a 5-card spread, and it is called the Bushido spread. So for the 5 cards, I'll break that down. If you want to know what Bushido means, it is the moral code adhered to by samurai warriors. And they make a nice little point of, regardless of gender or culture, right? This Bushido energy, we reframe it as like divine masculine, if you want, or just, just the sense of warrior strength, empowerment in all of us. So it doesn't have to be a binary, right? Although the book also has like the geisha, the geisha spread. I'm not going there. So the reason why I picked the Bushido spread is because some of the ideas for the sort of card placement really resonate with sort of the last video I did, which was like themes for the new sort of full moon, harvest moon, super moon. And so when I saw that there were things about integrity, around discipline, around courage and fearlessness, right? Again, those really came up in sort of the energetic explanations for this current full harvest supermoon, okay? And so I'll go ahead and explain the 5-card spread. Before I do that, Yes, of course, we have a supporting stone joining us. And this was more intuitive. I just kind of looked over at all my little heart buddies, and it was this one. And so, whereas the stone I used in my last reading, the red jasper, that was actually something that was sort of recommended for the moon cycle. But this is a form of amethyst, right? They're referring to it as dream amethyst. So it's I think it's the same as chevron, but I prefer the title dream amethyst. And again, just, you know, lots going on under the surface. Like it looks like there's just levels. Ooh, waves crashing, right? Or ooh, maybe this is our river, our spirit river. Oh, okay. I need to stop myself. No, I don't. I don't need to stop myself. I'm enjoying this. But I do need to be mindful of time. So, dream amethyst, okay, enhances spiritual awareness, intuition, and psychic abilities while promoting peaceful sleep and calm, stress-free emotions. Okay, they say like you'll sleep better if you sleep with this under your pillow, so maybe I will try that out tonight. Also, it activates the third eye and crown chakras. So we're now again getting up there in the, like, you know, higher levels of consciousness. Aids in dream clarity and communication with spirit guides. Also helps shield against negative energy and psychic attacks. Okay, so you're working overtime, dream amethyst. Okay, well, let's see. Put you here, okay? And this is a fresh deck. This box, right, came in a little while ago, but I haven't used it until now. So again, full card on the bottom, hasn't been shuffled. So let's go ahead and proceed to mix these up. And let's see. So they'll be probably, they'll be a little stiff because they're fresh. I love the vivid colors though. That's really what drew me to get these. They're just really fun and vivid. And hopefully this can be a fun and vivid reading. Okay, that's better. Okay. Yeah. And again, floating world. So the spirit world. Let me do this so they're not all upside down. The spirit world, right? If you're familiar with like Hayao Miyazaki, you know, Spirited Away, that whole sort of realm of the spirits, and some of those spirits take very different forms, not just human, but also animal and also object. And, you know, the whole sort of, again, that animism kind of removal of barrier is the best way I can put it, right? Spirit can exist in a lamp, right? Spirit can exist in a, you know, snake woman. There's lots of beautiful, just again, extensions of not just imagination, but just otherworldly reminders that, yeah, I mean, we live adjacent to a fantastical world. And wouldn't it be nice to bring it more into our regular day-to-day? Okay, so let me see. What more? I want them to be more mixed up, so I guess I'll just do the shuffle. Okay. Okay, so now this is kind of ambitious, right? So the first card is going to be representing honor and integrity, core values of the Bushido. The second card represents discipline and self-control. The third represents courage and fearlessness. The fourth represents wisdom and discernment, okay? And then the fifth represents loyalty and duty. Oh, I see, I see, I see. Okay, so it's going to be like a 5-card spread across this way. Okay, all right, okay. Let's see what happens for the Bushido. And then let me think. I am going to cheat a little and not do upside down. I'm not doing reverses. My brain hurts too much. So just to keep things a little easy, again, it's practice. It's all practice. Yeah, I have not like had much time to study, brush up, work on my tarot. So yeah, I'm making that decision. Whoa. So that when they fly, okay, Page of Cups, looking good so far, okay. How fun, look at these colors. Let's see, I know that one wanted to come out, but I'm gonna focus. Look at this erratic shuffling, oh my goodness, okay, come on. A bunch of them want to jump out, so I'm just trying to manage that. Again, a lot of times if I'm doing a numbered spread, I usually get more cards than necessary, but we work them in, we take what's given, and at the same time, it'd be nice to just keep it simple. So, let me focus. Bushido, Bushido. Courage, fearlessness. What do you got for us? See how those wanted to fly out. Okay, come on, come on. Yeah. Fun watching me do this, right? Okay. I'll take these. I'll take these. I'll take these. Okay, so now we got more. That's okay. Got 3. I'm not doing reverses. 4. And then if I get an extra card, I usually just add it to the last. Okay. Oh boy. Oh goodness. What did I set myself up for? Oof. All right, all right, all right. Okay. Well, this is what I wanted. So, and maybe just in case, we'll use their guidebook. Okay. So, well, maybe we won't. Okay, because I have to pay attention to this. Goodness gracious. Okay, that's going to force me to be intuitive. Okay. Honor and integrity. 10 of Cups. Happy ending. Right? This is like the best of the best. Honor and integrity. And we have this couple, right? Honor and honoring your relationships, honoring your commitments, honoring the reciprocity, honoring love. So yeah. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't get better than this. Honor and integrity. Staying true to oneself. Staying true to a lot of things. A lot of things. I mean, I almost feel like each one of the cups represents an additional thing, but I don't have the time to point them all out or think them all out. But be my guest. Be my guest. Yeah. Pretty self-explanatory, right? 10 of Cups. Page of Cups for discipline and self-control. Ooh. So remember, Page of Cups is a little more like excited but immature kind of energy. And Cups, right? Emotions. So self-control, discipline. Maybe not controlling your emotions, but maybe having them more in balance, like not letting them get away, right? Like not, but this looks so fun, right? This is almost like follow your heart, right? So maybe discipline and self-control, being mindful while being free-spirited, follow your path, seize the day, youthful spirit, take the risk, but discipline and control. You know, that's a learning process. Discipline and control, right? That's not always the inspiration. Maybe I'll come back to this because I'm biased. I'm with the page. I'm like, let's go ride a fish into outer space. That discipline control, who needs that, right? Unless it's a spiritual practice, right? And then through discipline and control, you gain this access. I don't know. On to Ace of Wands. Cute. Who are you, little bird? And look at the tree. Look at these cards. They make me so happy. Just the colors. They're just, yeah, they're refreshing. Okay, Ace of Wands. New beginning in Wands. Here we go. I need to find just a quick peek here. My little notes. I'm a little stumped. Creative force. I found these reframes I really appreciate. And so creative force. So it is about creativity, new spark of creativity. Okay. Passion, inspiration, new beginnings. Okay. Back on track. So this is for courage and fearlessness in this Buddha-Shido spread. Oh, this is similar to the last reading. What is it? The full harvest supermoon, about fearlessly, kind of striving for your goals. Courage and fearlessness. Yeah. Take the risk. Find the courage. Right? Let that inspiration, that creative force guide you beyond your fear. Right? It's almost like if we could switch these, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it's just a little more like this, right? Right? It's like follow the momentum, get on the river spirit ride, take this as far, and it gets into like more water here. Okay, let me slow down. Yeah, courage and fearlessness. Sometimes when something feels so for you, or so just like you can't explain it, right? It just feels like either the right thing to do, or you just see it very clearly, like this is what I need to do. And others, again, may not understand, but you're just so driven. You're so driven. And so, yeah. What do you have to lose? Go for it. Go for it. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. I'm also paying attention to our dream stone, our dream amethyst. So, sort of this higher level of consciousness, moving us beyond our fear, getting into our courage, trusting our abilities, moving into confidence, right? And then getting into the flow. Ooh, yes. Ooh, and then we move on to strength. Okay, and so number 4, wisdom and discernment. Strength, wisdom, and discernment. Let's see, since I've got my little book out here, let's see, and what I love about, again, the way I'm doing my learning process is, again, it's adding additional information each time. So it's an ongoing learning process, right? Because for the strength card, right, inner power, fortitude, self-control. Ooh, they're all talking to each other. All the blue ones are anyway. Resilience to get through difficult times. Wisdom and discernment. Knowing, I mean, pretty straightforward, like knowing what battles to pick, right? Knowing when to say something, when to stay quiet. Knowing when to observe versus when to act. This is the gift of mindfulness. If you are in the strength of mindfulness, the clarity of choice, the clarity of discernment, and then the wisdom to know the difference, right? The wisdom to be mindful of ego, attachment, trying to control, trying to avoid, right? Like all these like tighter energies, right? Tighter. Ooh, what are you representing, Lion? Courage, but also interesting. I'm sure there's more to it. Wrestling. I want to say tiger instead of lion. I know this is more of a lion, right? But again, like we have these like metaphors in you know, our language, right? Something a tiger. It's not there. It's not there. But you get the point. Interesting. Okay. Maybe what I'll do is I'll finish going through the spread, and then maybe I will go back through the guidebook and see what their unique take on interpretation is to kind of add to this. Okay. Moving on to, well, here's some tigers. Okay, moving on to the Chariot, right? So taking action, fast pace, communication. Is it, let me see if I find the Chariot quickly. Come on. Devil, the tower, the moon, the sun, the world. Okay. It's here. There we are. Okay. Willpower. Perseverance. Oh, a lot of these similar themes. Oh, and that's right. We're combining the two. Okay. So for 5, loyalty and duty. Willpower, control through willpower, loyalty and duty, leaving no one behind. Ability to harness opposing forces into a unified direction to achieve goals. So maybe there's also an energy of it's willpower balanced with maybe some flexibility, adaptability, right? Some compromise, right? If you're only thinking of yourself, you'll just charge forward, right? Or you'll just do what you want to do. But if you are not leaving anyone behind, you are considering the need of others, the survival of others. Right? And I'm curious how that plays in with the Lovers, right? So if this is sort of this combo of reciprocity, not so much. It's more about consideration, the greater good. And again, thank goodness I got out my little workbook here. I have none of this memorized. Let's see. Yeah, I was right. Okay. So aside from partnerships, we're also getting into important choices. Union of forces or aspect of oneself. Moment of deep choice that requires honesty and strong sense of integrity to determine the path forward. So loyalty and duty, not leaving anyone behind, important decisions, choices. Okay. This is where I know maybe the guidebook has more to say. Kind of literally scratching my head. I mean, again, it's a matter of being able to like stay with the cards longer and more will come intuitively. But again, you know, that takes more time than you all want to like wait around and not listen to me talk. So, I'm going to go backwards then. Let's see. What did they have to say for the Lovers? I'm curious. Let's see. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at this guidebook. Look who we have. The Lovers and the Chariot. No, this is not projection, by the way. I don't know what this is, but it's not projection. Again, right? Coincidence, synchronicity, confirmation. That's like my new favorite word, confirmation. Without a doubt, something's going on here. So let's see, Lovers. I'm going to scan it because there's a lot of storytelling, right? The warm sun behind them and the floating fruit blossoms symbolizing hope and inspiration as reminders that sometimes the greatest rewards come from tuning into the rhythm of your heart and taking a risk. All of this is kind of a little risk-takey, right? Sorry, this is talking about like the Lovers. This card suggests that you are experiencing a strong emotional connection with someone or are having to choose between two different partners or paths. Oh. What does your heart want? How can you dance with delicate duality? Two different partners or paths. And then we get the Chariot, right? Literally moving forward somewhere on a path. And what do you got to say, Chariot? The Chariot is reminding you that you are in control of your destiny. You have the choice to either overcome obstacles or give up. So take the reins, urge your tigers forward, and feel the power coursing through your veins as you ride toward your destiny. The wind in your hair and a fire in your heart. Ooh. Fire in your heart. Again, that was spoken to in the last reading, the full moon, harvest moon, supermoon, right? Because it's Aries, it's about the fire in your spirit. One of the stones was the fire quartz. Is it called fire quartz? I think it is. I don't know. It is. Is it fire quartz? Oh, sorry, I need. What is it? Fire quartz. Jeez. Okay, sorry. Very cool. Very cool. Strength. Curious. A lot of, again, major arcana. Okay. Let's see. Strength. Let's see. Strength. Ooh. Okay. Oh, there's so much good stuff. Completing impossible tasks become easier with this card. This is an inspiring example of the power of perseverance in the face of overwhelming odds. Drawing on this archetype of inner strength and resilience, you are being encouraged to tap into your own reserves of courage in the face of life's challenges. You may have already intuitively known this, but in case you didn't, you are being reminded that you have the power and strength to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles and emerge victorious regardless of who or what is involved and despite what is at stake. Okay. I'll just say this. If you wanna witness something fun, maybe after watching this video, watch the full moon video for Harvest Moon. The card for, like, what was it? Like something about the impossible. Dream the impossible? Anyway, a lot of repeats energetically. Different cards, different layout, different approach. Same message. Same message. Oh my goodness. Okay. Otherwise just take this in as. But I'm like I'm like freaking out a bit. I'm freaking out a bit. Yeah, literally. You're going to find the same messages in the other reading. So, which I just did before this one. So maybe this is also, in addition, a new Harvest super moon reading, because it confirms a lot of things, again, encourage to pay attention to for this lunar cycle. Okay. Now, I do want to do the rest. Okay, Ace of Wands. Okay, getting into this. Soaring to new heights, this majestic eagle, okay, representing strength, power, and freedom, carries a sprouting wand in its talons, suggesting you have the vision, clarity, and perspective to take a bold risk and direct your powerful potential in a positive direction. This is a sign of new beginnings, so go for it. Nice, right? They're all kind of talking to one another. I love when that happens, and it happens. Zzz. Hop on, let's go. Okay. Yay. Cool. Page of Cups. Page of Cups. Okay. Page of Cups. There's 10 of Cups. Okay, Page of Cups. A young boy rides on the back of a fish swimming in sparkling water, carrying a cup filled with optimism and inspiration. Water represents creativity, intuition, and emotions. So consider this card a wake-up whisper from your inner child who wants to come out and play. Let your imagination run wild, and you will awaken abilities that will bloom in beautiful ways. Lovely. Don't overlook the guidebooks. They're so meant to go with the vision of the creator. Again, I geek out over that part of the process. It's just when you thought you had a meaning, there's this other more, again, like poetic. Yeah. Okay. 10 of Cups. Again, remember it was integrity, family, unity, harmony. Rainbows assure us that everything will be okay. The cups above this couple, like their hearts, are full, representing the zenith of emotional fulfillment and happiness. Associated with family and kinship, You may have found harmony and unity in your relationships. Revel in domestic bliss, jump for joy in your magical moments, and you will create more to relish in. Again, I kept all the cards upright, so it's all fairly positive. If we were to honor the reverses, you know, maybe a bit different of a message, but not necessarily negative, just, you know, at a different place, if you will, right? So that's really cool. That's really cool. I didn't think they would be so connected, but not just connected to each other, connected to the, I guess, the energy of the day. So I really enjoy that process. Well, I think that went faster than I expected. Do we do it again? Do we do it again with, do we do it again? I'm going to do it again. And this time I'm going to use the same floating world. I'm going to keep it the same style of spread. And, oh, do I do it again or do I leave it? How much time has gone by? Only 18 minutes. Or 46 minutes. Oh, never mind. Sorry. So off to the side here, I did have these guys hanging out, the Yokai Tarot, right? Because they're more image-wise, much more representations of animism. But you know what? I'm gonna save those. Maybe I did again in another video, but just with those guys. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. This was cool. Again, we only got 6 of the amazing, you know, floating world tarot, but look at these colors. Look at these images. It's making me want to do like a big, okay, that's something I may have to do next. There is like a, their example of a, what is it? The cross. What is the cross called? The Celtic cross, but they're calling it the floating world spread. Okay, well, if I have energy, maybe that's what I'm going to do next, but I'll make it a separate video, okay? In the meantime, have a colorful and exciting and, you know, inspiring day. You know, play with your inner child. Let your inner child, like, run your day. See where it goes. You never know where it will take you. All right. Take good care. Bye-bye.